everybody. We got the recap for the last UFC event of 2025. ESPN era, all that good stuff. It's Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, aka Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. On behalf of Bros Talk MMA, I'm here to break things down for the last time. You know, there were some fights along the way to the main event that were kind of meh. This card was, especially picks wise for me, was okay. And my bets wasn't quite betting, but shouts out to Cesar Martin, the legend, my guy. We was chatting back and forth during the event, so that was dope. And yeah, shouts out to my bro hosts, Ray Bucks, guaranteed. Yes, indeed. I think they may have did a little bit better on the picks than I did. I think Darren T did go with Manel Kape, so he definitely got the main event. I went with Brandon Royval. I believe Ray Bucks went with Brandon Royval, and hey, he got caught. I was literally about to send Cesar Marin a message on IG talking about how Royval was, landing volume up until that point, but then he got cracked. So, what can you say? But a great way for them to end things off, like literally with a knockout win. That was a great way for them to end things off with this event and with their relationship with ESPN. Now we look forward to 2026 for the Paramount era. Let me go ahead and turn this down real quick. I don't know if y'all can hear fucking the ESPN shit in the back real quick. Oh, okay, cool. Right on. Thank you. Thank you for that. So, yeah. Great way to end things off with the knockout win. We did have some joints, though, in between that were kind of, you want to complain about Islam and Chimaev, bruh. I'll take that kind of grappling, lay and pray, whatever you want to call it. I'll take that all day compared to what we saw tonight in some of these exchanges. I believe, you know what? I'll just get to that in a second. Let's break this card down, folks, real quick. We started things off tonight with the ladies, and we had Jamie Lynn Horth. She made quick worth of Teresa Bleda, who, I should have known better than to pick them given the layoff that they had. But, hey, I didn't want to, shortchange them. They had some pretty decent showings prior to their injury, and I figured, they could get it done if, I don't know. They came out, they tried to get a takedown, and early on, I knew what was about to happen because they were so relentless in trying to get it, and I've seen that before where someone is just that it's almost like, oh, so that was your game plan. Like your game plan was that you assumed you were going to get this takedown. Like everything else was going to go into motion after the takedown was secure, but there was no plan necessarily for what was going to happen if the takedown didn't get secure. And we saw that play out real fast. Lynn Horth eventually was able to stuff that. Bleda was gassed already, not even able to really even defend themselves, got caught, and then continued to get caught until they were done. And Lynn Horth stacks another victory and actually is looking pretty decent, in terms of the way that I've seen them evolve, since first time that I've seen them. They're starting to look pretty nasty in there, not just like somebody who's going to get the decision, but really trying to look to hurt you and get you the fuck out of there. So, shouts out to Jamie Lynn Horth. Next up, we ended up having the two new guys. It was Guilherme Pat getting the decision victory over Alan Fry Jr. Once again, like I said, if you want to complain about Islam, Makachev or Hazmat Chimaev, like, okay, you can complain about that, but I'll take that any day over watching Alan Fry semi turn this into a boxing match in a sense where, he didn't really do too much but just clinch with Guillermo Pat. That's literally all he did for the most part. He just clinched with him, and that, like anytime that Pat would, get free, try to exchange again, Fry would just tie him back up. It was like just watching two, heavyweights, in the boxing ring where literally they're just leaning on one another, but it was literally just off Fry. Anytime that Pat would start to open up, he was landing heavy. He definitely had Fry looking a mess. My guy Cesar Martin and I were hoping for this one to not go to distance, but it ended up going to distance because Guillermo Pat, was just started to fatigue, wasn't able to really get free from the clinch, and Alan Fry, although they weren't providing much offense outside of just clinching up and neutralizing that offense from Pat, they really weren't doing too much. And then, like I said, Pat would get free every now and again. He'd let some offense off, and he would make the most of it. But kudos to Fry. They definitely got a chin. I think they said they were from one of the Carolinas, so shouts out to the Carolina chin, I guess, because he definitely wasn't going down, and he got cracked a bunch. So yeah, moving on to the next matchup, we ended up having Luana Santos win a decision victory basically by headlock the entire time over Melissa Croden, who I was actually pretty high on going into this matchup. I was thinking that they were gonna be a little more comfortable, come in a little more relaxed, ready to flow a little bit more in this matchup, especially in terms of the stand up. And I felt like, they'd be able to outmuscle and or, match Luana Santos's grappling, which they were, but then I don't know what it was. Luana Santos was just able to get this headlock joint that I don't even really know how to feel about it, but she was able to for the third round in particular just secure it for the entire time, which was ridiculous to me. Like she just literally held her in the headlock position and was able to just kind of like scoot around the entire time. And that shit was frustrating. Once again, like if you want to complain about Islam Makachev or Kamzat Chimaev, and their grappling, I'd take that any day over what I watched with Luana Santos and Croden. There were some nice exchanges in the first couple of rounds, but that third round, that was ridiculous. But hey, I mean, kudos to Santos for being able to just keep that locked in like that, and shame on Croden for not being able to shake that because, man, if they were able to shake that, I think that they could have, actually took advantage of fatigued Santos at that point and, definitely got that third round. But, they just allowed themselves to just get big sistered in there is really what that was. It was what it was. But moving on, we go to Sean Sharaf up against Steven Asplin. This fight, at first I didn't I didn't know what to think. And early on, Sharaf and Asplin were trading heavy, and it looked to be that Sharaf was about to get Asplin the fuck out of there. But then it was just one of those things where Asplin outdogged him. That's really what it came down to is Stephen Asplin outdogged Sean Sharaf. At one point, jabbed him, which was wild. He jabbed him so nasty that he opened up a uh, pretty significant cut over like the center of his eye bridge, and yeah, that thing started leaking. They really couldn't get it to stop, And yes, Asplin just ended up to gradually outdog him and actually got, more crisp in the striking and definitely showed the separation in the cardio. I got my guy Cesar Marin in the chat, the legend. Croden looked tense and maybe she needed more time between fights and she wasn't strong in this fight. She should have dominated Santos. I mean, I agree. You know, yeah, I had thought she had shaken those jitters because she definitely showed jitters in her first fight, but then was able to actually gain confidence as it went on, and basically, I feel like was facing someone pretty similar to Santos, and I feel like she was about to go on and do the same thing. She was going to, have adversity early on, have some grappling exchanges that didn't go her way, but then eventually come on and just, I don't know what happened. But then also he says, Asplin versus Sharaf went too far after it went to the third round. I knew I was cooked. Yeah, I mean, kudos to Asplin for getting it done. And yeah, he just outdogged him. And yeah, just don't let his frame fool you. And if he can get better, crisper with that striking, um, I mean, he could be a problem. I don't know how much, I don't know about grappling wise, what he has to offer or how that would look and what that cardio looks like after a nice, grappling session. But in terms of, you know, putting on some nice stand and bang fights, I think he'll have a place, and he'll fit where he needs to, and be a Dana White guy. I could see. Uh, then we move on to Joe Anderson Britu getting the unanimous decision victory over Isaac Thompson. Another one that I felt like should have ended quicker, but Thompson, he's in that rare air like with who was the guy Ethan Ewing, Felipe Lima. Some of these dudes who come in, whether it's on short notice, yeah, most times that's really what it is. There's just these short notice replacements. You think that they're going to get steamrolled or they're there to be steamrolled, and then lo and behold, nah, these guys came to fucking fight, and then they end up, putting the beats on who the fighter that had the full camp, whether or not it was a drastic change in style that they were going up against. You just expect them to perform, and they end up getting beat on. But in this one, Thompson, although a very formidable opponent for Bree 2, he started to fade as the fight went on, and maybe not even fade. I think maybe he let his ego get the best of him. Maybe got a little too over over his head in terms of like that first round and a half was going really well for him. Maybe even, not, I wouldn't say the first two rounds, but like, there was points where he was looking really good. And then, yeah, I think he just started to feel himself a little bit too much and then, let Bree 2 back into the fight. And then eventually Bree 2 was able to, you know, outlast him, in terms of just cardio and everything like that, hold him and have the more dominant position start to open up a little bit as the fight neared its end. And yeah, Bree 2 was able to pull it out. But I know he went back to the hotel or, is back on his flight or whatever it is. And he knows, like, oh, okay, I had to earn that one. And, he may have been better off with his original opponent. I forget who that was already, but yeah. Moving on. We ended up having the newcomer from, the Bellator organization, champion, in that organization, but was told, in order for you to really feel like you legitimately have a place in the 170-pound division on a, worldwide level, if you want to ever consider yourself the best in terms of like, you know, being seen as one of the tops, you have to be in the UFC. So we had Yaroslav Amasov making their debut against Neil Magny. Early on, it looked like Magny was kind of like hey, if this is what we're gonna do, then we're gonna fight my fight. But then eventually Amasov got him to the ground, and then he just slowly but surely, methodically, just let the grappling, do its thing. Which apparently, it shows on his record. He's well rounded, but yeah, definitely the grappling was in his wheelhouse, and he definitely showed it. Got Magny the fuck out of there in the first round. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a problem in the 170 division, but he's definitely going to get some. He's going to get some higher profile fights. I think they're going to, put him in motion pretty quick. I mean, he's like 28-1, coming into this fight. So, you know, Cesar Marin, the legend, says Almasov came through and showed why he was 28-1. Exactly. Yeah. Like definitely not one of those dudes, coming over that shit the bed, because yeah, they've been under big lights, but maybe they just weren't as bright. And he showed like, nah, I belong here. So and Neil Magny, it depends on how you feel about Neil Magny. You can say, nah, he's a gatekeeper, but the type that helps launch names. Or you can think of him as a type that's really there to test whether or not a dude's supposed to be in the UFC. And yeah, I mean, whether or not dude beat a legitimate competitor for his debut to then now put him up against somebody who's to say, maybe at that lower end of the top 15, or maybe you give him one more. I'm not too for sure, but we'll have to see with Amasov. But let's see. Then moving on to King Green getting a split decision against Lance Gibson Jr. Short. I don't know if you want to call him short notice. I don't really. I guess just short notice booking. Because there was really no clear opponent for Bobby Green going into this matchup. But eventually they finally got it done. And I guess Gibson won the sweepstakes. And they got him in there. And, I think that definitely when we see him again, hopefully he shook the jitters. Hopefully he gets with, a little bit higher level training and is able to, really make good on some of those gifts that he got. Because I feel like he could do his thing. I don't know what he ultimately would be in the UFC, but he showed that if he was comfortable and came in there like more on an Isaac Thompson type of energy, ready to fucking throw down and like, hey, I'm supposed to be here, Amasov energy, shit like that, then he possibly could have fucking got Bobby Green. And there was flashes, small sparks. But eventually it started looking crazy when you got Bobby Green fucking doing his fucking like he's doing his fucking Debo walk around the fucking cage, literally stalking this dude and walking him down and talking to him and all kinds of wild shit. Shouts out to Bobby Green, a showman for sure. But that was wild work, hands down the entire fight, telling homeboy to come here. It was wild. But Gibson fought guarded, but Green is a tough matchup. The way he tosses up his set is hard to time. Nah, for sure. Personally, I think that Gibson just needed to open up. I get it. Like, your debut, you're trying to make a good impression. You don't want to caught, or anything like that. But I feel like Gibson was stronger. When he wanted to muscle Bobby Green, he could. If he mixed it up more so, I guess, instead of just trying to figure out the striking puzzle, I think he could have had a better showing, if not maybe edged out that split decision, but yeah, Gibson's gonna be back. I agree with you. Most definitely. Most definitely. Moving on to the next matchup, which, bruh, like, cut both of these fools. Like, for real. Like, Kennedy and Nzechukwu going up against Marcus Buchecha. That shit, like I said, once again, you can complain about Islam Makhachev. You can complain about Hamzat Chimaev. You can complain about, high level grapplers, Dagestani grapplers that, just kind of float on fools and fucking, just control them the entire time. This shit was excruciating to watch. I did not enjoy watching this fight at all. Uh, they came to a draw, and that shit was terrible. It was just watching two tired guys just try and survive. And one guy who he's the grappling specialist struggle to get his grappling going, and really, just look super exhausted. That shit, I couldn't. Oh man, that shit was horrible. That fight should have been stopped in the second. He threw single punches. It was sad. Yeah, man. Like, if he didn't need to land hard. Like, he didn't. He just needed to keep doing this. As long as he kept doing that, eventually, just the motion itself and the action of Nzechukwu just shelling up and not, doing anything to defend himself would have prompted a stoppage, but instead, homeboy was like, he got tired and was like trying to reserve energy to whatever. Fuck that fight. Fuck that fight. That fight can go to hell. Cut both of those fools. That was terrible. It was a fucking draw. You guys do not need those dudes unless you're gonna put them up against dudes from the Contender Series who are gonna fucking come in there and, at least maybe with Nzechukwu you can have a nice stand-up matchup potentially. But with Buchecha, yeah, put somebody who did nasty work on the Contender Series against Buchecha so that they can fucking flatline him and get him the fuck up out of here. And then Nzechukwu, that shit was terrible. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about that fight. That shit was terrible. Then we move on to McQueezel Costa going with the head kick finish against Morgan Shariar. Man, that shit was nasty work. First round. Even though Shariar got the hand up, that shit still just got through and rattled his ass. And yeah, I mean, he was knocked out. Ref had to step in. I'm sure he's fucking pissed because I'm sure this is just not the way he thought that his UFC, tenure was gonna go. But Mel Costa, man, he's doing his motherfucking thing. He had a hell of a year. I think unbeaten the entire year, and is just like surged here recently. And he's definitely gonna get some higher profile fights come next year. Probably he'll have something booked. Probably has something booked already. And he's already knowing what he's about to do come 2026. Probably take a little nice break just to enjoy himself, the fruits of his labor, all that good shit. But I'm pretty sure he already knows what's about to be on board for him, if not here very soon. Did not see that coming at all. No, I didn't. I thought if he'd win, he'd definitely be by the cards. And nah, he fucking cracked that fucking fool. He's actually getting interviewed right now on all the post show shit. Yeah, he had a win against Andre Fili in February, Christian Rodriguez in March, Julian Arosa in May, and then just fucking cracked Morgan Shariar tonight. So yeah, he's definitely gonna get him some nice fights set up for 2026, especially if he stays on this trajectory. Then moving on to the feature bout of the main card, we had the Cesar Bowl. We had Cesar Almeida going up against Cesare Olegchuk. We have Fight Bloodline in the building. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel right now. Shout out to my guy Cash Money. Shouts out Gannon, G Wave, the whole team over there. It's a family affair over at Fight Bloodline. So make sure that you go and subscribe to their channel. Check out their picks and predictions on a weekly basis. And yeah, much love. Sounds like my boy said he might cry. Yeah, I know. We were all going for Brandon, except for your uncle, bro. Your uncle on here that didn't go for Royval, and he's probably gonna talk shit if he hasn't already to you. But that's wild work. Yeah, crazy, bro, crazy. Yo, shouts out to my guy Cash. Um, my guy got connects, always showing love to the team over here, gets us good looks and everything. So, like I said, once again, make sure that you go check out Fight Bloodline, subscribe to the channel. Just went over 100 subs last night, so salute to them. They're doing work. I'm telling y'all, go get familiar. Then moving on to the co-main event of the evening, y'all. We had Kevin Vallejos fucking spinning back fist the shit out of Giga Chikadze. Interesting with this one. Giga, was like literally kind of in the not in the middle of, but like literally Vallejos did something or something happened and Giga went like this or something like that. Did not some. I guess it's an emote or a taunt, however you want to call it, and got cracked like immediately afterwards, and that shit was wild work. Yeah, Cash Cole went 8-4. I don't even remember what I went on this card, but I know it wasn't that great. It might even be in that realm. I think it was in that realm, 8-4 or 7-5. But there's 13 fights on the card, I believe. So I probably maybe went 7-6 or like 8-5, something like that. But yeah, Vallejos fucking laid fucking Giga the fuck out. That shit was crazy. Did pretty much what I expected to happen. So kudos to him. Calling out Cub Swanson, I don't know about all that. That was probably, not the best use of his mic time, but yeah, whatever. He'll get set up. He'll do his thing. If he keeps doing it like that, they'll send him up the ladder. I don't see him like having to, go the long route. If he does it like that, keeps it up like that, they'll do what they need to do with him. Amanda Lemos and Jillian fight didn't happen. I forgot about that. Damn. You're right. My apologies. And yeah, the Spanish hands, prove deadly again, my guy. Shit was nasty work. So yeah, shouts to Kevin Vallejos. That moves us into the main event, which I touched on earlier at the beginning of this video. Hey, my guy couldn't get it done tonight. It wasn't for a lack of effort. Like I said, as Manel Kape landed that nasty ass strike that put Brandon Royval down, I was about to tell Cesar Marin, the legend, who, we did a show yesterday. Make sure you check us out. You can go check that episode out, even though the event's already passed. But I see us getting together here in 2026 and doing more of these prop parlay shows where we build parlays based off of fights that we don't think are going to go the distance. So yeah, make sure you check us out. Shouts out to him. Make sure you subscribe to him. Go to this channel here in the chat. Make sure you go subscribe to him. He does more than just MMA. He also does basketball, football, so definitely check him out. He's gotten me paid, I have testimony. So yeah, you make sure you go subscribe to my guy. Super dope dude. We do shit together, like I said, so make sure to check us out here in 2026. But yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say here? Oh yeah, I was sending him a message because we were chatting during the event, and I was telling him that Royval was landing volume up until that point, and literally as I was about to send that message, Manel Kape caught him, uh, rocked him, like knocked him out. You know, he was like knocked him out, but then like it wasn't until he cracked him again on the ground, and then Royval went to sleep, but then woke up. Herb Dean did the right thing, stopping the fight. I think Royval even know it's like, yeah, that was a cool stoppage. You know, uh, yeah. Cash Cole said, Cesar paying the bills out here. I'm telling you, got to get on board with my guy. He's the truth. He's the real deal. He's a visionary. But yeah, you know, like I said, it wasn't Royval fights. You know, he got cracked. It's not, you know, because he's on a slide or you know maybe he's out of like title. He's definitely out of title contention. You know, he's gonna be ranked still. This doesn't drop him too far. He's gonna have some high profile fights. Will he get back to the title? I'm not too sure about that, but you know, definitely comes the fight, and you know that's what happens when you come to fight. You know, he just got caught. That's just really what it was. But to be honest, up until that point, he was landing volume. So shouts out to the hometown guy. You know, Brandon Royval, you know, he's gonna still have high profile fights. You know, he's probably got another Brandon Royval rematch or fucking, you know, something in the works. Who knows? You know, but he'll be back soon enough. Probably some Kai Car France, maybe winner of Amir Albazi, Horiguchi, you know, something like that. Who knows what's going on? But yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, that you know, that was the event. It was the main event capped it off right in terms of, you know, that's how you end it. You know, you say, yo, this is UFC signing off for the last time, ESPN, with a knockout victory. You know, now it's on to Paramount in 2026. But you know, the event overall was kind of underwhelming, like I said, because there was a lot of fights that had just unnecessary just bowls in the fights, you know, and just fucking excruciating to watch. Royval, let's see here. I sent him a video of y'all last card. Did y'all? And he liked it. Yeah, no, that's why I gave you that shout out for the Royval look. I did the if you follow me, you know, or Bros Talk MMA on IG or TikTok, make sure that you go follow us. Make sure you go follow my guy Cash Cole. Make sure you go follow Fight Bloodline. You know, make sure you go follow my guy Cesar Martin, the legend. All that good stuff. You know, if you're following one of those two platforms, you would have seen in my story that I had posted that about my guy. Like I said, Cash Cole, he gets some solid looks. He's got his channel. He's got 100 subscribers freshly as of last night. So, you know, give my man his props. Go check him out. And let's see here. Royval is gonna fight Pantoja and his bionic elbow. Yeah, and he's gonna lose. Cash Cole, screw ESPN. I mean, hey, bro, I was not a fan of this tenure. Definitely happy to move on to this Paramount shit. You know, excited for that first event. Main event could be better. You know, I feel like that fight's better reserved as a co-main or a featured bout. That fight should have been like number 3 on the main card. Kayla and Amanda Nunes on the co or the main event, and then something like special, you know. But it is what it is. We'll have more to talk about as that shit nears. We got about 5 weeks now to, you know, gear up for a new set of fights. I think they're going to have 44 events on the year this year coming up. So that's 2 more than these past couple of years, and I don't know about years past before that. Uh but yeah, so we'll be on episode 85 as of, the first event of 2026, which will be UFC 324. Patty Gaethje, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, they're gonna have some joints. It's gonna they're gonna come out strong, and even for the whole first quarter, they're coming out strong for the first quarter. What do you think about Max and Charles? Bruh, that's gonna be nasty work. But I think Max could fucking potentially end up piecing up Charles, but it could also be one of those things where he might drop Charles and then Charles is able to, wrap him up. Or Charles fucking drops Max and fucking submits him. I could see that happening too. Like, I feel like those are the two outcomes. I don't see that fight going the distance, especially being a main event, so it'll be 5 rounds. I don't see it going 5 rounds. If it was to go 5 rounds, that would mean that Max is probably just styling on fucking Charles, and Charles is just fucking bloody mess. Otherwise, Charles doesn't. I don't think he goes to decision. I just don't even understand how that would happen. So he gets him the fuck up out of there. My guy Cash Cole gonna be filming a documentary from 0 to 100, dropping soon, y'all. Stay on the lookout for that. Him going from 0 to 100 subscribers. But that's gonna be a banger fight. Cash Cole says Max by KO. Also says Moreno Asu Almabayev for UFC Mexico. Yeah, I mean, turnaround for Moreno. I think this is like them helping him out a little bit because, yeah, Almabayev's a little less of a grappling threat. He's one of those dudes that if he can't get the grappling going too much, he doesn't have a lot to offer with the hands, but I think Moreno could redeem himself here, but they're definitely letting him know, like, hey, bro, like, your ship is set to sail here pretty soon. Not necessarily like we're gonna cut you or anything, but this is the trajectory we're on. Any early predictions for who Van fights next? I think with this tonight, right here, and with Horiguchi getting set up as we've seen with what was who is that? Who's the motherfucker? Albazi and fucking Horiguchi getting set up. I think that you got to give it to Kape, to be totally honest. I think with that knockout victory, Pantoja didn't. I mean, he's the champ and he won it legitimately, but you know, somebody's got to be ready for Pantoja when he comes back. I think Taira would be cool. He deserves it. Does he? I don't know. He lost to Brandon Royval. I don't know. He beat Hung Sung Park on short notice. I don't know. Does he deserve it? I think you give that shit to Kape. That shit's gonna be it's gonna be a stand-up fight. Somebody's gonna get knocked the fuck out. Like, I think that'd be a good fight to have in between to set up, either a rematch between Kape and Pantoja when he returns, or Taira, that's just Pantoja. I mean, that's a grappling. If, you know, I don't think UFC wants to do that. Have something to where they're gonna have Pantoja rolling. They like when Pantoja mixes it up, and eventually breaks his opponent, you know, submits him, whatever. But they want somebody who's gonna come at him. I think if it's Taira, it's not gonna be what they want. I don't mind, you know, grapplers fucking specialty. That's whatever to me. I ain't really tripping too much on that, but I don't think that's what UFC wants. But yeah, no, I think you give it to Kape. That's me personally. I think after this performance, you give it to Kape. I think that's a fight everybody would love to see. Two personalities that'll generate enough energy to make it interesting going in. They'll stand and bang, and they'll make it worth it. Van won't fight again until what match? April. That won't put him on the White House card. They have to save stuff for the rest of the year. I mean, they're talking about doing multiple like hellified belts on the line for the White House card, so who knows what's on the horizon, you know? They already got, like I said, they got the first quarter planned out, and there's a couple of title fights within that time. Nothing too significant. I mean, think about that. It's the women's bantamweight title, the men's lightweight interim title, and then the BMF title and the featherweight title. You got Tom Aspinall on ice right now, so they'll probably do some type of interim heavyweight title fight. So truly, you know, it's not. There's a lot of the interesting belts in line for things to be defended on that White House card. Um, Talking about 8 title fights. I don't know, bro. Who knows? I just read things sometimes. Uh, but yeah, man, shit. I mean, like I said, I'm actually very excited for 2026. I think it's going to be super dope. I think there's going to be a lot of things. The sport's only going to grow bigger. Now it's going to draw in even more fans. We're going to try and cook some things up, in terms of Bros Talk MMA. We got a lot of things we're going to try and cook up. Shouts out to Whiskey Bar Denver, looking to do some things with them. Once again, shouts out to Fight Bloodline, Cash Cole. Uh, Shouts out, Cesar Martin, the legend. We got some things I feel like we're gonna, be doing. We got 44 events to get paid on. So, make sure, you be on the lookout for things we got going on. And yeah, I would also say, um, if you want to, come on to Bros Talk MMA, whether it's to just shoot the shit or, to be interviewed. I would love for anybody, whether you got your own channel, if you're a fighter, or you just like the show, whatever the case may be, hey, let's do something. Let's chop it up. Let's Bros Talk for real. How did Ray do? I'd have to check and see. I don't really want to go over all that shit. I think he did middle of the road, kind of like me. I think me, him, and Darren kind of did middle of the road, but I might be wrong on that. Um, but yeah, like for instance, Cash Cole. You've been on the show before. It was a little funky because I think I maybe overused my phone that day, so we ended up having to do some like and foremost. Second of all, we should do something about you though, like, whether it's a interview or you just coming on and people, you and I doing like a collaborative joint to where, we share the episode and it goes on your channel, goes on my channel, and we just shoot the shit, talk about what's coming up for 2026. That'd be dope, you know. And same to anybody that watches this, just, email me, or you can DM at Bros Talk MMA on TikTok or Instagram, or you can email Bros Talk MMA 303 at gmail.com, and we can set something up through there too. But yeah, most definitely. Me and Brandon were talking about it the other day. Super dope. Once again, my guy Cash Cole, he's got a line to Brandon Royval, who, you know, got a chance to, to be aware of who we are via him. So that's super dope. And yeah, you know, like that'd be dope. Be like, you know, even though he lost, I'm sure there's a lot of good conversation to be had with him about this experience, what he feels about 2026, where he's going with his career from here, what he feels like could be a pathway back to the title, all that good shit. There's all kinds of good shit for him. Doesn't stop for him. He's one of the most exciting fighters in the division, in the organization. He's good to go. But yeah, maybe even Terrence McKinney. Hell yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, same with him, you know. Um, but yeah, yo, shit. This is your boy Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, aka Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. Make sure that you like this stream. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Bros Talk MMA. Shouts out to my bro hosts, Ray Bucks, guaranteed. Um, Once again, subscribe to the channel. Shouts out to everybody that subscribed to the channel. We had a major, boom in subscribers over this year, viewership over this year. Can't thank y'all enough for everybody who supports the channel, tunes in on a weekly basis, engages with us in the chat. Like truly, much love to y'all. On behalf of the team. Shouts out to the folks who came and checked us out live. We hope that more of y'all come out to check us out. And yeah, make sure you like this stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on IG and TikTok. And let's just keep all this good energy and just, snowballing all this into the new year, 2026. It's going to be exciting, going to be dope. Can't wait to get my Paramount subscription. And yeah, you know, once again, Bros Talk MMA official recap of the last event of 2025, UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Kape. Last event of the ESPN era, you know, and 2026 gonna be lit. I don't think there's any much else to say other than that. So, with all that being said, until the next time, folks, we out.